Hello, good evening. This is my presentation of the master. My name is Fiorenza Belussi. I'm a old professor and the founder of this master. I founded this master about 10 years ago. And here you can see with me also Elisa Sabadin, which is was a tutor and also helping me to organize the master. And we have also a professor, Giuseppe Danese, which is one of the many teachers of our master. Well, let's go on. The master has two main columns. The first column is related to the development of competencies in the internalization process. And the second important area is related to the market and particularly web marketing. Go on, please. You can see here a kind of detailed list of all the topics that are developed during the teaching moment. And we have some hours on international business, some hours on strategy, some courses related to international payments. We have also a course in international accounting, and clearly we have the topic of sustainability, circular economy, and global supply chain. And last part, very important, is the analysis related to innovation management and patent intelligence. This is the part related to the first economic area. Then we have a second area, which is more technical, more related to the analysis of web, because nowadays these are important competencies. You will have the opportunity to study with not just with professors, but with technicians that are consultant working in this area of international marketing, web communication and digital media marketing, web and commerce design, with e-commerce design, and also data analytics. Okay, this very shortly is the program of the teaching area. The teaching is quite heavy. It starts in November when we start the master, and is the first part of our activity. Together with the formal lectures, we have also some interactive teaching with case studies and presentation of firms, and this is related to deep your knowledge into practical also issues. We have an exam for each module. The exam is not a traditional exam of the university. It will be organized through group projects, to presentation, and in some cases with a test. All teaching will take place on Fridays and Saturdays from morning up to 6 o'clock. And we like, in fact, open the master also to a part-time workers. So for this reason, we choose Friday and Saturday to allow people to partially to work part-time and also to be enrolled in our master. Go on, Elisa. We allowed you to enter the master if you have a graduation. So if you have at least a first cycle degree, and if you are good in English. We don't ask for an official certificate, but clearly we will, when we select you, we will check that your English is enough to allow you to understand the lecture and to be able to communicate, because our master is totally in English. And we typically we make teaching in class with physical people, but we also allowed some online lecturing for instance, for problems that can be occurring. For example, one student is abroad and so on. You can receive the diploma of master if you have at least make 30%, 70% mandatory attendance, which means that you have at least have a presence of 224 hours out of 320. The tuition fee is about 5,000 euro. And there is just the possibility of one payment. In the past, we make two payments, but it didn't work very much because then we have a lot of problems to follow the students, and we decide since 3-4 years to just concentrate on one payment. If you have problems for the payment, you can ask help. We can postpone some payment, but we don't want shifted to parts. We also have organized the master in 3 parts. One part is related to the teaching, the second part is related to internship, and the third part is related to the writing of a small thesis, master thesis. When you do all these 3 activities, you pass 1 year. You will finish 1 year. Then we have also I will say some words on the internship. Internship means that we help you to find a good placement in a firm in which you are interested or in which you think you can benefit for building some competencies or some activities that are related to your interest. Clearly, we also we offer you an internship and not a job, a position. So this cannot be the ideal for everyone, the ideal place. But we have, especially Elisa is working for organizing interesting internship. What is important is that the students select 2 or 3 internship, makes interviews, and then you see what is going on. Typically, you can have a good matching, but sometimes you go in a firm, you make an interview, and either you don't like the firm or the firm is not interested in your competencies, so the matching does not occur. So this is a time-consuming activity, and sometimes you have to try 2 or 3 times. Okay? Which are the problems behind the internship? That the student think to start as managers, maybe top managers. This is not possible. So you have to understand that you are in your first occasion of working, and so you have to be modest. You have to be clearly, you start a process of learning, but you are not, you cannot really say, look too high, because it will be, so ask us to go to work for Tesla, because you see, this is too much. It's happened to us. So student enter in work and maybe in interesting firms, and very often they are hired because this experience is not just a matter for learning, and looking to some activities, but it's also a good way for you to offer your competence to the firm. And in some cases, it's happened in our history that after the stage, you have a proposal of job, of 6 months contract and so on. Students can also try to work in places where they don't have a past experience. And so they can also move from one firm to another firm. And this is a good way to test how another organization is working. Clearly, it's possible if you are working actually and you work when you do the master to make the internship in your firm where you are employed. And this is simply a kind of interesting internal upgrading. Muoviamoci. Final project work is like a small thesis, like in your previous academic process. You have to write a thesis of about 6 pages, 60 pages, with divided in 3 main parts: a theoretical chapter, a theoretical analysis of the topics that have been developed during the master. Then you have to present the company where you're doing your project work. And then finally, you have to underline the application that you have done of your competence to a specific activity. So you have to put in evidence your contribution to the activity that you have done in the firm. If you don't make the project work, if you don't make the internship, you have to make project work more deep. So nearly a thesis of 90 pages with a more detailed analysis and so on. This is open as an alternative to go to internship. Every thesis have an internal professor that will develop with you the thesis and a firm supervisor. So you are following this mix of competencies. You will discuss, just a moment. Sorry, my throat. I'm the mountains actually. Okay, you will discuss the thesis in front of a commission with all professor of master, a selection of them. Typically, we will do this in a specific time, but normally in October or first days in November. And the discussion will last about 15 minutes with the 5 minutes of common discussion. So it's something very short, but the teacher, the professor will validate your work before you have to send them the final project in advance. Go on. So the timetable of the master is to start in November. The internship starts in May, about when we finish the lecturing. And then you have time to write your project work, and the final discussion will be in October. Finally, you are now able to make the pre-enrollment. Then you have to send your application. We select the application. We publish the people selected the master, because we don't know every year how many people will enter in our master. And so we need to have a time to check and to see that there are not too many applications, because our ideal number is about 20, 25 people, but we don't want to make two classes that are too big, and we want to make an interactive course in which everyone knows each other and so on. Typically in our master there are also foreign. This is nice because so we are obliged to speak English. And clearly the interaction is also a good experience for Italian students that can have a kind of deep immersion in the situation, in the reality of other countries. Okay? Contact us, Marco Fanno, Elisa Sabadin will speak with you. Actually, this year the director is Professor Ivan Denoni, but I came here to present the master because he will move to Milan, and so it will be changed very soon. These are the office hours, and please don't hesitate to ask, to make questions and to try to clarify which are your needs, because you are the clients of our master, but clearly our master is quite severe, because I remain as a vice director, and so I will maintain our reputation and our solid strength, and try to develop a really a good course in which you learn a lot. Typically, I know that I ask very much to the students, and typically after 3-4 months, I can see that people has changed a lot and they benefit a lot of. They are more fluent in English, they are more able to make presentation, and so on and so on. Okay, I finished.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Belusi. So we'll go back to the first slide just as a screensaver. Just to go on with our conversations, I just want to remind you that during this digital open day week of the university, we give you the possibility to organize a face-to-face meeting. So if you are interested in setting up, scheduling a meeting, usually with me, it will be possible tomorrow, the 20th and the 21st, until 5 p.m. So if you're interested, just send an email and we will schedule everything. I just want to go back to our program, because since we have here our Professor Giuseppe Danese, I would like to ask him if he wants to explain how a module is typically organized and how theory and practice do intertwine together. So Giuseppe, if you want to present yourself first, and then
Sure.
if you want to,
if you can go to the next, if you can go to the next slide, Elisa,
yes,
I think that's where my course is. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Giuseppe. It's the Italian version of Joseph. I studied in lots of different places. I got my bachelor at Bocconi. Then I continued at the University of Trento in northern Italy for my first master. I then went to the University of London in England for my second Master of Science in Economics. And then I went to Canada, where I continued to my PhD. And I have a PhD in economics. Before coming to Padua last year, I worked in Portugal for a while, then in South America. And immediately before coming to Padua, I was a lecturer at the University of Pennsylvania for almost 4 years. First of all, may I just say that I really have a much respect and I would say almost love for this program. The reason is that it was really born out of the incredible amount of competence that Professor Belusi brings to this program. She's a leading scholar in the field of international business, and she has really, poured all this knowledge that she had into crafting a master program that is both theoretically rigorous, but also very practical, okay? Which is why the end of this master, you will actually be within an organization where you will be hopefully, using and putting to practice all of the skills and knowledge that you have acquired throughout the program. I also would like to acknowledge Elisa Sabadin, who is the tutor of the master. I worked with her now for almost 2 years. She does an incredible job. She provides quality customer support. Believe me, every organization should be so lucky to have such a committed tutor like Elisa. She's there for you. Any problem that you guys might have, she will be there for you to help you getting through whatever difficulty you're facing. After we said that, as Elisa was mentioning, I teach course number 7, International Marketing. How do I envision this course? People come to MIBS from many different paths of life. Some of you guys might have studied economics, business. Some others of you might have studied something completely unrelated. What does it mean? It means that I cannot assume that people have had a marketing course before in their career. So what do we do in course number 7? First of all, we make sure that everyone is brought to the same point. Over the course of roughly, I would say, 22, 23 hours, what we do is we go through the most fundamental concepts of marketing. We talk about products, about services, about business to customers markets, business to business markets. We talk about, of course, branding, okay? And then towards the end of the course, what we do is we go more into the internationalization part. We talk about the determinants of companies' internationalization strategy. We talk a fair amount also about Italy, made in Italy, okay, and how Italian companies, given that most likely you're going to be interning in Italian companies, what are the facilitators and the barriers on their internationalization path. What we do is then I assign to each and every student a case from the Harvard Business Case collection, which talks about the, once again, peculiar challenges that a company faced, on its path towards internationalization. We do some labs in class to analyze these different case studies. And then the very last part of the course, it's the evaluation part. Each one of you will take, center stage in the class and present the case study, but also in order to achieve, a full grade in my course, you will have to prove that those tools that we developed in the class, you are able to bring to the analysis of the case study, which I assigned to you. And I believe I've given you an overview of how my course works. There have also been sometimes people who, for different reasons, were not able to have a presentation at the end of the course, or perhaps people simply prefer to have a written exam in the end. We have also given students the possibility to take a final exam in written form at the end. But of course, the hope is once again that you are able to use the tools that you have acquired through the course for a presentation in front of the class. And with that, I give the floor back to Elisa.
Thanks a lot, Prof. Danese. Thanks also for the kind words for me and for Professor Belusi. I just want to link to what you have just said about different backgrounds. So it is true, this is an international program. So we have people coming from literally all over the world. We had people from Canada, we had people from the US, from Asia, from Africa, and hopefully this year will be the same. I just want to remind you, especially for foreign students, since the journey to obtain the visa is quite long and tough, I would like you to suggest you to first pre-enroll as soon as you can, and then write me an email so that we can start the visa process together, because you need some letters, you need some documents from the university, and my suggestion is to start as soon as you can. Going back to the background, do not worry. I receive many emails from people asking, I hold a degree in literature, I hold a degree in psychology, and so on. Can I enroll to the master? Yes, you can. I have to tell you that we have a lot of people coming from international languages, literature, political sciences, and so on. So do not worry. Professors will teach you. I'm also available to send you some additional materials if it is needed. So do not worry. The program is tailored to what the job market needs. I just want to tell you something else about our professors. The professors in this master are mainly Italian. However, we do have some foreign professors, and we have also some Italians, like in the case of Professor Danese, with foreign experience. So we managed to get him to us. So if Professor Bellussi also wants to add something else, I would like to open the floor if you do have any questions. Let me reduce here. I don't know if you have any questions, doubts that can be practical or theoretical based on the program, on the internship, and on the final project work. If you want, you can decide to write in the chat, or you just open your microphone and you can talk and ask whatever you want.
I would like to add that typically in our master, everyone try to work to start from his or her competencies, and we have a lot of people coming from languages. It is a very important path because people are trying to find a good job, and they already know one or two languages very well, and so they add the economic part, the management part, and so they can enter in firms with a very good background. So we like this mix of competencies, having languages and add some economic or organizational competencies. Okay?
Thanks a lot. So, guys, if you want to...
we open now the discussion.
Yes, exactly. If you do have some doubts, I see many of you already sent me some emails, so I know some of you by name. Let me interrupt so that we see everyone here.
So we are open for questions.
If you are shy, you can also...
some questions that you want that we reply?
If you are shy, you can also write in the chat. I will read it for you. No, I don't see any.
Maybe you received some email, Elisa, and which was
yes,
the topic.
I think, yes,
they ask,
exactly. More often, the topic they ask about the graduation diploma they must have. So you must hold a bachelor's degree. Okay, so you will have to hold a bachelor's degree, and the diploma must be in your hands before the 16th of November.
Okay, we have two questions.
If you don't have, just a second, if you don't have the diploma by the 16th of November, but you are still interested in pre-enrolling in the master this year, just write me that we can try to solve the problem if you graduated before December. Yes, so we
Okay,
do
so
have some questions.
one question was, how do you evaluate the profile of the people asking to enter in the master? The answer is that we look at, okay, do you have a question, Del? Del, you do want to speak up? I will stop.
No, I think you can, he unmuted himself.
Okay,
so.
I finish. So the idea is that if we have many people try to enroll in our master, we select first the people that we think are more appropriate for entering firms, in small firms. So a very important area is the capacity, the knowledge that they already acquire in business and economics. But this is not so important. We look at a profile of the person, looking at his interest in his activity, his interest in doing things, in experimenting different jobs and so on. So we look at the profile as a general profile demonstrating the interest of the student. The second issue was about the exam. Can I see the second issue?
The second question is, can we have to follow the lessons from Zoom?
Yeah, well, we prefer a master with people in class, physical in class. So Zoom is considered acceptable only sometimes for specific questions. For instance, you have to, last year we had some people following us in Zoom because they didn't have the visa. They didn't receive the visa. But normally speaking, Zoom, we don't like to be virtually connected. We like to be connected. This is my opinion. Other question?
How long is the exam session? And if it
The
is
exam
possible
session. No, but the exam session is after a module. A module is about 30 hours. And it could be a test for a person, a written test for the class, or a presentation. So in this case, a presentation lasts 20 minutes. 3 people have to present a topic and so on.
If it is possible to start the master, if I finish my degree in December, okay, I suppose that the degree you are talking about is the bachelor's, because if you are finishing a master's degree, it is completely fine. For what concerns the bachelor's final diploma, it will be possible because we will reopen the pre-enrollment session. It will be possible if we still have space for other candidates to reopen the pre-enrollment. However, my suggestion is to write me an email so that we can have a one-to-one call together, because in this case it is better so that I can explain all the process. However, yes, it is possible. If you get the diploma before the 15th of December, not later. If the fees, it is annual or 6-month fee. It is annual. So for the entire master. So from November to October, you pay just once, 5,000. So the total amount, and it will include the slides, all the additional materials that professors will upload on Moodle, the access on Moodle, the access to all the recordings of the lessons, and so on. So usually you don't have to buy any other material, usually, in general. Any scholarship for this program? No scholarships. However, you can ask. Some banks can give you some loan, student loan that has some let's say that they have some student special tax interests rate, so you have to ask to a bank, but there is no scholarship for masters, at least. I have already a master degree. Yes, you can apply, because this is not a master degree, so this is an executive master that is different from a master degree. It means that this gives you an extra title, but it is not comparable to an international master degree. So it does not give access to a
Master
PhD.
of Science.
Exactly.
Our is not a Master of Science, but is an executive master.
Executive or professional.
So it can be done 3 + 2 plus our 1 year, our master.
Exactly. Okay, I don't know if there are some others. Can we go for a no? I said that it is not possible.
No, you
to
can go for a PhD, but you can go for a PhD, but you have to start since the beginning. So this hour of master, this year of master does not reduce your PhD activity.
But you have to have a master degree to enroll to a PhD. So you have to have
Master of Science. You have to have a Master of Science.
Bachelor's, master degree, plus something else if you want. But you need master degree to apply for a PhD.
Let's call them Master of Science. So it's clear. Our program is intended to be practical. It's not so interesting, in my view, for a person that would like to make a PhD. So if you would like to make a PhD, first of all, you have to have no bachelor past 2 years, and you have to have a Master of Science, and then it's better for you to shift immediately to a program of PhD, because program PhD is quite a long time, and so don't lose the time in doing other things.
Okay, I don't know if there are some other questions. If there are no questions, I just want to remind you the possibility to attend one-to-one meeting with me. And I will leave the final words to Irene.
Thank you, Elisa. So thanking you for your participation, and would like to remind you that the pre-enrollment for the master expires on 6 October at 12:30 p.m. It is necessary to make the pre-enrollment in order to eventually finalize the enrollment in the master. Now I will post you on the chat the link of the master's website, where you can find all the details and download the brochure. Just a moment. Okay, this is the link. And the recording of the open day with the illustrated slides will be made available on the master website starting from tomorrow. So thanking you again, and the best regards.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.